Hello, everybody, and welcome to Detroit Comics Party, episode 54. Today we have a wonderful and exciting guest with us, Mr. Alex Krentzin.
Oh, me? Oh.
Yeah, it's you. You're surprised to be here.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised at that introduction.
What would have been the ideal introduction? Let's start by just completely picking this apart.
Well, here's Mr. No Life.
Oh, no. I don't consider you a person with no life. You seem to have a very rich life.
I guess so. I mean, it depends how you're quantifying that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm using the Eckert scale.
Okay.
But yes, you are a wonderful entertainer. You create your own story time, Cowboy Alex story time show where you go into. Tell me if I'm saying it right.
Okay.
You go into a library and read stories to kids, but with the help of puppets and costumes and a humongous cactus and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. How did you bring all of these different elements together? Like, did you just slowly collect them piece by piece, or was there an idea of it all together?
I think it slowly came together over the many years that I've been doing this.
How many are the many years?
Like 25 years.
Oh,
maybe?
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because
so do you?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, do you have fans from 25 years ago who like talk to you about it now?
Yeah, sometimes kids who were little, they come into the library and now they're grown up. And they say, "Hey, I used to go to story time with you." And
you're like, "Don't talk to me."
Right. I'm like, "Thanks for making me feel old, kid."
That's cool.
I was looking through, I don't know, it was like Royal Oak Events magazine, and I was excited to see you got a big article with all your schedule, and you got a like Cowboy Alex schedule in there, and so somebody's looking out.
Yeah, I think that's when I do story time over at the community center, the Royal Oak.
Yeah.
The senior community center, they're listed in that booklet, so people can read when they are. And
Do people bring kids to the senior center, or do you talk to seniors?
No,
Do you adjust the book so that it's like this very advanced, like it's like, "Oh, Papa Louie, today it's the old man of the sea."
Right.
Well, the building is called the senior center, but
They're not really
it's
that
not.
old.
Well, they do things for all different ages.
That's cool.
I think it's like the intent originally was the senior center, but now lots of different things go on in there. It's just like a community center. So
That's cool.
So I'm not breaking any laws or anything.
Have you been accused of that before?
Yes.
Hey, wait a minute.
That's a kids program in the senior center. You're arrested.
You can't bring a puppet in here. Get out of here, man. Oh my God. So, like, we met because you started doing a TV version of your, I want to call it your stage show.
Right, yeah.
But you started doing a TV version of it where you had, you actually went to the cutaway of like puppets riding through a like Lincoln log desert scape and stuff like that. It's very advanced. Is there a reason you decided to like kind of go in that direction just so more people could see it, or what?
I wanted someplace else to do it, because see, I was the children's librarian, but in the wisdom of the library world, they decided they didn't want to have a children's librarian
Children
anymore.
don't need to read.
That's right.
Right.
So, but I still wanted to do story time,
Yeah.
and I wasn't doing story time anymore, so I was looking for a way to do it, and then I was reading the paper, and there was an article about CMN TV that you should come and have your own show, and I thought, well, that might be a good place to do story time, and
That's cool.
then I wanted it to be more like a show, so it needed like beginning and an end, and
Yeah.
you know, and I was always like a big fan of Friendly Giant, which was on CBC television, and he would have like a little scene at the beginning where you'd go through this little city,
Uh-huh.
and then like I was a big fan of Soupy Sales, and he'd do like funny jokes and gags and stuff, and so I sort of
Yeah, yeah.
put it all together. And
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, if there was like a specific like show of that genre that was like your influence. Yeah.
yeah, and Captain Kangaroo
Mm-hmm.
with puppets and stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's a really good show. Like, it really has that feel to it, like, completely.
Oh,
So I think it was like very like successful in like bringing the good elements of those shows into it. Like, it's fun. Like, it's fun. Like the segments all go in like a good order, and it's got a good
Oh,
like,
good.
flow. It's like a really
I've
fun
never
show.
watched it, so I don't know.
Do you wanna? Can you tell everybody about your co-star, the elusive
Baba Louie, yes,
Yeah.
he was supposed to come tonight, but something happened. He was having personal problems with other puppets or something. And so
You don't ask,
Right.
and he won't hit you.
he claims he carries the whole show. The show is on his shoulders, but
We all
But
know
anyway,
he's pompous.
right. So
So he lives in the cactus, like on the set, like there's this big giant cactus with doors and windows and stuff in it. Is that his home?
yes,
He
that's-
lives in there?
He lives in the cactus house, and I don't know why, because I would think it would be pretty pokey and stuff, you know, in
That's
there.
the outside.
Right. Oh, right. I've never been inside. He hasn't let me
To
go
protect
inside.
his soft
yeah.
heart.
So he comes and he's my foil.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. But you work at what library by day?
The Madison Heights Library.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I was going for, but the show is separate from your job now.
Yes.
But what is the life of a librarian like? What is that existence? Do you select the purchases? Do you select the books that are available in the library?
Well, that's
Do you-
that's one of the things librarians do, and they answer questions and tell people to be quiet and stop
out the
running
shushing
into the
taser.
library. And what else do they do? Check the books out and stuff like that. Yeah.
Make sure there's no
So
rats.
it's pretty uninteresting unless you're doing children's stuff.
So did they just say guess what? You're the adult librarian now.
No, they didn't say that.
Oh dear. Oh, okay.
There was a lot of legal wrangling.
Oh,
and,
okay. I see. Do I not want to get into that now?
Not really.
Okay, that's fine. Oh my god.
I'll write about that in my memoirs.
Okay. When is the timetable for that?
Oh, I don't know. When Cowboy Alex retires, or you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was really hoping it would be a puppet-based memoir
Okay.
in video form.
Yeah.
Like, I'll put money on that. Like, for sure.
Well, that's an idea. I'll start working on that.
I'd be super into that.
Yeah.
My favorite part of the show is like when there's like a kind of shtick that you have with Baba Louie where like you're asking him to find something inside the cactus and it's shaking around and like he's looking for it and like he brings out things that aren't what you're looking for. It's always like a random series of objects, and then there's some point at which like some group of small items rains down out of the top of the cactus.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
I think that was from on Captain Kangaroo. He would always something would go wrong, and he'd always drop ping pong balls would drop from the ceiling on all the puppets and all the characters. I think that got stuck in my mind or something.
Yeah.
And then Baba Louie, he doesn't listen, and that's so.
Not a good communicator.
You know, when we're reading the stories, he does not listen. He's always doing something else, and that causes a lot of the turmoil and gags.
Yeah.
Or the so-called gags.
The kid's favorite part is when you handcuff Baba Louie to the book. Make him read it.
That's when I call the library police.
Is there a real library police?
I think some big libraries have library police.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
It's not just
like
something where they're actually just puppets.
No. Like Detroit Public Library, they have like security guards walking all around. Yeah.
I guess. You got to maintain the integrity of your book hoard.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some libraries that have like deep crates, right, with like extreme rares and
medieval illuminated
Yeah,
manuscripts
yeah.
and stuff. That's true.
I think there's situations you can get in where you can handle like extremely unique edition, but then somebody's got to be looking over your shoulder,
Right.
So you don't run off with it, which I would.
The very idea that like a person could go get a book that's like over 100 years old even and touch it in any way infuriates me. Like, I mean, I would love it. I mean, that's like a weird pleasure is to handle a very old thing. But like, if I had that book, I would be like, no one's ever gonna touch this again.
Some extreme, like single stuff that only the one copy exists, I don't think I would be comfortable sharing.
Yeah.
Though sharing is a problem for me because I'm very stingy. But we were talking about Gerhard Stiedel for a second earlier. He said, "Oh yeah, I got to look through a Gutenberg Bible," and he was like, "I wasn't very impressed. It looked rather handmade."
This is weak.
Right. Though he's kind of a mean German stereotype, so I could see that. Like, it does not look like a machine.
Unimpressive. Oh, that was the chief critique, is that it did not look like a machine had made it.
Yeah.
And that Gutenberg was a liar who did most of it by hand. Gutenberg. Yeah, I don't know. That's always, I'm afraid anytime I'm around something that's real old like that, or even like at the art museum, like, I just think of myself just leaping into the painting with my face or something. Like, how does it not happen all the time?
Well, recently wasn't somebody was in the National Archives, some like political person, and like was looking through something and took
Really?
something. I can't remember the exact details.
Like a little nibble off the Constitution or
Yeah,
something?
right. I think it was some like secret document or something that they took.
Really? Huh.
I forgot who it was though.
it was somebody who's not chiefly known as like a Nicolas Cage like what is that movie called thing
Constitution.
where he eats the Constitution.
Yeah. Constitution Man.
Constitution Man.
I don't know. He eats it? I don't know about that movie.
I don't think he eats it. So that's what it's like being a librarian, huh?
Yeah.
Do you? What do you want to? What else do you want to do with the Cowboy Alex universe? Like, do you want to? Did you ever have any desire to like make children's books, or have you done that already? Or?
Yes. Well, I'm working on one right now.
Can you tell us about
a
it?
coloring book
Oh, awesome!
for the for your comics party.
Oh, cool.
And so I'm just working on it. It's ABCs.
Is that an alien?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
A is for alien, and
Oh, is it all the letters?
it's all the different letters and stuff. And, so there's 26 of them.
That's
very good. I like
Yeah.
it.
So
It's gonna be hardcover, right?
well, it'll be like I've done other coloring books.
That's
It'll
how I
just
feel
be
when I'm brushing.
Sort of like this. This one.
I like it.
And then I
very
have
good.
the Cowboy Alex action figure.
Is it for sale?
I'm working on them.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Will they? Is this the prototype?
Yeah,
like,
this
what
is the
they'll all
prototype.
Look like?
Yeah, sort of.
Oh, very nice.
So,
Could we just do you have a box of 1,000 of those hats?
well, right now I just have this one hat. He's borrowing it from Gumby.
Oh,
So I haven't worked out the hat problem yet. But
Hat problem. Maybe we
But-
could like 3D print them. Or
yeah, that's what I
Make,
was
like,
thinking.
something. Just black obsidian hat.
Yeah.
you got to be able to get taupe filament.
Mike, I've never experimented with any colors on the thing. I just make black stuff.
Oh.
Oh, that's cool.
He could have a black hat, I guess.
Yeah. Seems a little sinister
Right.
for the brand. Well, that's cool. Do you as far as like the show goes, do you plan to just keep going with it and just as long as they make children's books to keep reading them?
Yeah, I plan to like go through every children's book. So
That's
But
good.
This will be going on for the next couple hundred years. I
That
think.
sounds good. That makes me glad.
But I'd like to have once I get more familiar with all the technical stuff, then I'd like to have like kids actually there
Oh yeah,
while we're
for sure.
doing the show. Yeah.
Do you need like more crew members or something like that, or?
Yeah, I'd probably need more crew members, but I have to know what to tell them.
Oh, sure. Well, you've been doing good, and I mean, like so far, you've been totally one man banding it and
Yeah.
doing the whole big studio by yourself. So
Yeah.
that's, I'm sure you could tell them something to do.
Right. Yeah, and then I'd like to have like maybe like guests
Yeah,
can doing their thing, whatever they do. And
that'd be cool. You could even have like the authors come on or something.
Right.
That would be cool.
yeah.
And then you could have them fight the kids.
Right. Yeah. Or if there's a bad kid, get up.
And then we follow them with the camera
Yeah,
out of the
right.
studio. Oh man. So you were saying you watched like Captain Kangaroo and what is this, the sailing man's name?
Super sales.
Soupy sales.
What? So were those like the main thing? Like, was there a feeling you got from those that you wanted to like give to other people, or I don't know, like just how did you decide?
I just
to kind
thought
of,
it was
that you
like-
wanted to do this like a lot.
I don't know. I just sort of I just sort of did it. I mean, I just always sort of had it in the back of my head that it would be sort of cool to do a TV thing or something, yeah.
That's cool. I mean,
yeah.
even like at the library, like to put on the show and you know, become this cool character.
Yeah, well, that happened because I was just doing it plain for a couple years, and then one day, like during lunch, this is when I worked at the Berkeley Library. Down the street, there was a thrift store, and they had a whole rack of cowboy shirts, and I thought, oh, I think I'll buy one of these and wear it at the next story time. So I did.
That's cool. So did you was it already like a puppet intensive production before the cowboy thing, or was it like
No.
the cowboy shirt first and then that attracts puppets to you?
Yeah, first it was a cowboy shirt and a cowboy hat, and then I made a little cactus. Nice. Like this big. And then I had my Babalooey puppet like way before that.
Okay.
I just had it for some reason, and I just used to like stick him through the little cactus, and then that turned into like a big
giant cactus.
That grew and grew. And
you keep not watering it, it keeps growing.
Right, yeah. And then adding all the different little things and magic tricks and jokes and other puppets and stuff. So
yeah, well, I love it. It's really cool.
Oh, thanks.
So like, so what if somebody gave you like, they were like, here's $10 million, do whatever you want on this show. Like, what would you do?
Oh, well, I'd probably have like a fancy set.
Mm-hmm.
And
like what? Like what's on it?
like cool, maybe like a giant glass cactus or something, made out of glass.
Yeah.
That's like would,
good answer. That's
it would like
good
light
answer.
up, like it would like glow or something.
That's awesome.
And have like fly-in big stars, to joke around with.
Who's your star? Who's like 2 stars you're flying in for the first couple episodes?
Oh, maybe who do I like? Martin Short.
That'd be great. Yeah. Who else? Who's number 2?
I'd have to think about that. Oh, John Cleese, maybe. Yeah.
That'd be good.
He could do the silly walk or something.
There you go.
Oh, he could lead an entire gang of kids on
Right.
a
Silly
silly
walk.
walk.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
right. Yeah.
That'd be awesome. They're going around the cactus.
Yeah, right.
Because it's 40 feet wide.
I don't know. I would like to see like the high production Cowboy Alex with glass cactus, and like, I could see that in my mind. But in true honesty, like, when you gave your performance at Comix Party last year, it was such a true and moving experience for me. It like the timeline shot all the way back to all the deep feelings I had about like, childhood era Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers, and you like communicated that to me as a cranky adult. Like totally, purely, and directly, and I think back very fondly of that, and it was super meaningful to me, at least.
Oh, thank you.
And I thank you.
I didn't know I was so profound, or such a profound experience.
I think it is profound to be like kind and fun and like innocent, and like to do anything like that today is like you're making a good statement, I think. And it's also like it's surprising and refreshing.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, well, there aren't any like kids shows with like real people.
That's a good point. Like they're all animated
They're
shows.
all
pretty much?
animated, and there's like nothing local, because when I was growing up, there was tons of kid shows on Channel 9 and Channel 50 and Channel 7. And, you know, it was a commonplace, and you could, like, relate to all these crazy people on the TV. And
kids
and
just
it was
hate humans now?
Yeah. No.
Could you convince them that you're actually just a really finely drawn cartoon?
Right, yeah. Yeah, maybe that would take me to the next level if I was just like a cartoon or something.
To become a cartoon.
Right, yeah.
You're transforming.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Well, okay, so what are you going to have? You're going to be at, I think this is exploded. So you're going to be at Comix Party June 23rd?
Right.
And you're going to have, what is your setup look like? You got the book?
I'm going to have the coloring book, and hopefully I'll get all the bugs worked out, and I'll have
They're covered
this
in
guy.
bugs, folks.
And then I might have like my laptop with the show going.
Yeah, that's
and,
cool.
And Babalooey, if I can convince him, he'll probably come by.
Awesome.
He's going to want a lot of money.
Right, yeah.
That's cool. Mike and I had an idea one time where we were just going to create a package that instead of going to other comics conventions, it's just like this gigantic TV with a looping video of us yelling about comics really loud. And it would just be like you hire somebody to like open the box and set up the comics on the table and the big TV behind it. And then we would never have to go anywhere.
Yeah, that would be good.
Do you want to get in on this?
Yeah.
There'll be different
Could I
packages.
send it to work also? You know,
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I don't have to go to work. It go to work for me.
I'm just gonna put it like in like portrait mode in my door to my office. Yeah, television show.
Right. Well, that's like at some libraries. You know that there's not a regular librarian there. There's just
An irregular
a screen.
library.
No, just a screen, and the
It's like self.
Is that
and,
real?
and the librarian, you know, is off
In a
site
bunker.
someplace, you know, answering reference questions from
Really?
different a bunch of different libraries.
Really?
Yeah.
That's very advanced.
Mhm.
I didn't know that was happening.
Yeah.
Are
That-
you a virtual librarian?
Yeah, right. No.
Not yet.
Not
anyway.
yet.
Oh my god. Well, I think we're out of time already.
Oh.
But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. And please keep making your show forever.
Okay. I was just working on it before. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll let you get back to it then. And thank you, everybody, for watching the show. And we'll see you next time on Detroit Comics Party. Bye-bye.
Bye.